Thank you for everyone that showed up and tuned in tonight. I'm really excited about this. Javier is just an amazing human. It's been so nice to be in connection with him over the years. He was actually one of the first board members for the Central Coast Green Building Council and instrumental in helping us build the Build Smart trailer, which is one of our prized possessions. Tonight, the Central Coast Green Building Council and Ventura College School of Architecture have teamed up to host Javier, who is representing the 3C REN program. Javier is also an instrumental player in the Ventura County Regional Energy Alliance. And I think the best title for him is Energy Coach, because every time I talk to him, he has a really just wonderful insight, and it doesn't just come from the things that he's read. This is a man that has a lot of hands-on experience climbing into people's attics, and identifying problems that the general public just doesn't get exposure to, just because of the work that he does. So I am so excited to have Javier here, to be in relationship with him and to give a space for him to share the things that he's learned about total home performance with all of you. And just really quickly before we get started, I just want to let you know that if you're interested, if you have the ability, the time, the funds to get involved with the CCGBC, we would love to have you as a member. If you're interested in the regional councils, please reach out to admin@ccgreenbuilding.org. And there are different membership options for the CCGBC. There's the chapter membership position at $55. There's the emerging professionals position at $25, and student memberships at $15. You can find that at ccgreenbuilding.org and /join C4. We're also developing a mentorship program for the CCGBC. So if that's something that you would like to get involved with, get partnered up with a professional in the industry that you're interested in, reach out and we'll get you partnered up with an architect, a builder, a designer, a consultant, someone who you would like to ask some questions to and further along your career path. There's a lot of benefits to becoming a CCGBC member, mainly supporting us to continue doing this work. I think it's really important that we have educators, that we create a platform for people like Javier to speak to the public and share the wisdom that we've learned from our careers. Access to a lot of resources. We have a regular newsletter that talks about events and jobs, get connected with other leaders, and really just to build the conversation and advocacy for sustainability in the built environment. So if you feel inspired, we would love to have you as a member and help further the work that we're doing here. And tonight is not the end. We have a lot of amazing speakers coming up this year. I'm so grateful for Ventura College School of Architecture to support us in building an audience and helping organize this effort. We have Cash Upton talking about solar and storage, Paul Poirier, who's going to talk about the 2030 commitment in building electrification. Our very own Lisa Eklund is going to talk about career development and different resources that students can take advantage of to further their career path, and on and on. So thank you again for tuning in. Just grateful to have this space and to share this message. And at this, I'd love to hand it over to Javier to take it from here.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for being here and thank you for inviting me. Sorry about the technical things here, but anyway, I hope that give you guys some input on the type of things that I do, how I got here, and make sure that you guys take advantage of all the training and things that we have out there for you. So I work with Ventura County Regional Energy Alliance. I've been with them as a contractor for the last probably 10, 11 years, when it was a nonprofit and it was working outside the county. And once our grant ran out, the county decided that they were going to take over because they didn't want the work that we were doing to just stop. So we've been continuing now, I think for the last 5 years inside the county building and working from there. In the last year or two, we had our staff apply for a grant for the 3C REN, and they were awarded after 2 years of work. I think it's something like $58 million for the next 8 years to provide much needed training to the area. As I go through my slides, you'll know where I started and how I was getting my training. But now we have the 3C REN here in town available, and a lot of the training that we used to take way back then, it's coming here to Ventura, it's coming here to Santa Barbara, San Luis Obispo, places where we didn't have any training before. So this is huge for, training the workforce that's coming up. That's definitely kids that are coming up to college and, professionals want to maybe take on a new career. So this is really good that the 3C REN was able to get this grant. So I have one contract. I'm a general contractor, but I have one contract, and it is with the County of Ventura. And I've been with that contract for the last 10 years. I've done some outside work just because I tell my boss that I need to stay active and I need to be testing homes and finding out what's going on. So she lets me do some work outside of the contract. But for the most part, I work for BCREA. I've been under that contract for the last 10 years. And, they send me to Santa Barbara. They'll send me to San Luis Obispo, wherever they need me. I will go and try to help out in whatever things that are going on. Right now, we're running the home performance through the gas company, Edison, and we're also running the green business program. So if you guys have a business, let me know. I would like to come out and certify your business as a green business. Okay. So a little bit about myself. I was born in Ciudad Juarez, Mexico. 64. I came here in 78, and I landed in Santa Paula, and I went to high school there. So I did a year and a half in Santa Paula. For some reason, when I got here, they decided that I was a senior and that I was going to graduate right away. It doesn't make any sense, but at the time, I think they were just pushing Hispanic kids forward, and I got caught up with it, and I, went through the classes, and I graduated. Before you know it, I was leaving Santa Paula High School, and I was enrolling in Ventura College. So when I got to Ventura College, it was kind of weird. It was like, what am I doing here, right? So I'm in college now. So a year before I got here, so it started kind of nice. I took a bunch of fun classes. I took drafting, which I always loved. I did well in it. I think I got something like a B and a C. But then I started hitting the courses where you would go, for example, a history class, and at the time you would get there on a Monday, the teacher would do the class, and then we said, okay, I'll see you guys on Wednesday and read chapter 3, 4, and 5. Well, that was okay for everybody else, but the fact was that I didn't speak English at the time. So that was kind of hard for me, So as the year went on, I started doing really well in some classes and really bad in other classes. Just because I could not read English, I didn't speak English. I was kind of, just learning the language. And, I think I was there for about a year, just taking a few classes, working part-time, this and that. It was kind of tough because you could feel from week one, you would start falling behind on biology, on history, things where you have to read quite fast in order to keep up. So I did get pretty discouraged, and I quit. In 1980, I quit college because I just could not keep up. I didn't speak English, and it was kind of tough for me. So I went back in my 40s. I went back to Oxnard College, and I signed up again. I said, I need to finish this. I cannot just leave it there. And when I was there, they found a learning disability that I've been dealing with it for years. They figure as soon as I went back in, I started doing really well, and then all of a sudden, same old thing, start not keeping up and this and that. And they figure that I had a reading disability, which after quite a bit of testing, they figure out that, you know what, you have a problem here. If you fix this, I think you're going to do well. And they put me in on a, Department of Rehab for Learning Disabilities at the Oxnard College. And they ended up providing me with a program that's called Kurzweil, which is a reading program that basically you put on your computer and it'll highlight the reading. It'll tell you on your ears that, what the words sound like. And you can, if you lose your spot, it'll highlight it again so you continue to do that. So once I got that program and once I got that computer set up, I was able to actually keep up with my classes. And, within the next year and a half, I graduated. And it was an awesome feeling to finally realize that I wasn't dumb. I just didn't know, I had the disability. So for young kids today, I really encourage you that if you're not doing well on a certain type of class, that get some help. Maybe you have a reading disability. Maybe you have a way to learning that is different than anybody else. So please go ask for help and, take care of that issue so that you can keep up with the rest of the kids and just go ahead and graduate. So, that was something that happened to me. And it was like, gosh, for 40 years, I thought I was just a dummy. And it turns out that, no, you had a reading disability. So when you're in education, make sure that you do those things. Make sure you attend job fairs. There's always good help out there for kids that are trying to move on with their career. These are some of the things that I did before I became an energy conservation person. Way back then, I was trimming power lines for the Edison Company. I got into construction at the Living Desert and Palm Desert. I was building exhibits. I always thought that was like my Disneyland job, just going out there and building animal exhibits. It was a lot of fun. When I came back to Ventura, after I did my construction, a heavy equipment operator, I came back and I started a business, Mac Tools. I don't know if you guys know Mac Tools, but it's a business where you sell automotive equipment to all the mechanics in the area, and you do that, and it's it was a lot of fun. I learned quite a bit. One of the main things that I learned was that rejection is not personal. If you're trying to sell something to somebody and he tells you no, it's not that he doesn't like you. It just means that, he's not ready to buy from you. So, just don't take rejection as personal. It's just something that you will continue to do. If you get into this business, if you're in construction and you're trying to sell something or build something, if a person says no, it's not personal. It's just that they're not ready yet. So after my Mac Tools, I actually, because of all the travel, I decided that I wanted to be closer to home, and I opened up a bicycle shop, right? And at the time, people asked me, so are you crazy? I said, no, I just like bikes, and I said, well, do you know how to work on bikes? I said, no, I'm not a bike mechanic. I said, but I'm a heavy equipment operator, so I can pretty much build anything and fix anything. So I took off in my bike shop, and it's still out there, so my cousin's running it, but I got out of it and went back to school and I became an energy analyst. So this is how I got there. So this is one way to get there. Way back then, I was taking trainings from the Energy Alliance. They were providing training to people who wanted different energy training. And I signed up, and before you know it, I was taking training from the gas company, Southern California Edison. And that's when I finished that training that I took. There was like 2-week classes that they had. I became a home assessor for doing low income weatherization. And that's where I got my start. And, when I started, it's a really good program, except that the utilities kind of control the program. So they only let you spend what they want you to spend. They don't let you do the whole program, which the whole program is pretty awesome. Okay. Once I was there, I realized that I wanted to get into this. I wanted to do more. And I went and got my contractor's license. And, I got certified as a general contractor. Once I got that, then my next thing was the CalCerts, which is a HERS rater provider, somebody that certifies air conditioning units, heating units for the for the city. They want you to come and basically verify these units to make sure they're working properly. Okay. The BPI, this is a good certificate. This is for people that want to do, it's kind of like the basis for net zero homes, or if you just want to be in building performance, they pretty much teach you a lot of the things that you're going to need down the road. And, for you guys that are up and coming, the 3C rent, I think that's going to be your way if you want to learn a lot of this trade. The training is free. It's usually local, and they bring in the big guys. I mean, these guys are people that know what they're talking about, and they've been doing it, and and they have experience behind them of building residential, commercial, and so make sure that you guys sign up for these newsletter. Make sure you sign up there so that they'll let you know what the trainings are and what's coming up. Okay, so like I said, I'm a home performance professional, and this is what I do when I go out to do a home. I'm basically looking at health, looking at safety, the comfort of the people in there, the building durability, and by the way, energy use and reduction of gas. Those are going to be my goals. So that's what I'm looking for. And once you go, usually when you do health and safety, comfort, eventually you're going to end up with energy savings. So it's one of the things that we do. The way that we do our work is pretty much, you set up an appointment, you talk to the homeowners. You want to find out what their comfort level, what is their pain, why are they calling you, why you need it, and usually they're the best people to talk to. They know the home, they've been in their homes 10, 15 years, sometimes more, and they will tell you what is going on with the home. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You just got to listen to them and ask the right questions so that you have something to start. Make sure that when you go there, make sure you're going to be taking notes. You're going to be doing a lot of visual stuff and like that. So now once you're in the home, this is something that we're looking for. You got heating systems, you got water heating systems, you got air conditioning units. These are the lights. These are, a lot of people, they just love these lights, and I don't call them lights. I just call them holes. There's a hole in the roof there, Architects and designers love these recessed lights. And, I'm just like, you build a beautiful building, you have it nice and airtight, and then you put a bunch of holes in it, so that's something that we're going to look at. I'll talk to you a little bit more about it, but that's one of the things that always comes up. And then down here below the corner, you got the 2 5-ton units. This is the contractor's favorite, 5-ton. For some reason, 5-ton, and if you can't call it 5-ton, you go and put another 5-ton. 70% of the jobs out there never get properly sized. So 7 units out of 10 are oversized, okay? Because contractors do not want to do the work to size and measure the house so that they can put the right amount of air conditioning on this unit. This place here could probably run with 4-ton, 5-ton, you're pushing it already, but he's got 10 tons to run it. They figure that if 5-ton is good, add another 5, it'll be better, but it's not. It'll start cycling like crazy. It's just not proper sizing the system, and it's a terrible thing because it goes on all the time. Contractors want to make money, so they figure if they sell a 5-ton, they're making more money than selling a 3 or 2.5 unit. So when you guys start designing your homes, make sure that you have somebody that knows how to size the system before they put it in, and it's something that you got to follow up because you might put it on your blueprint plans, but if the guy that gets there to install it doesn't know anything about sizing a system, he's just going to throw in a 5-ton, okay? Here's some more things that we usually look for when we're up in those attics. Picture on top is what they call the top plate. That's if you get up in an attic and you look down, that's your 2x4 walls. and they're all over the place. And there's a bunch of gaps that you can see anywhere where, the contractors either putting air conditioning booths, or he's drilling holes for his wires, or he's drilling holes for the pipes, but these things have a lot of holes up there on top. And that makes the attic connected to the home, so whatever goes up in the attic, it's going to be happening inside the wall. So that's something to look for. Ventilation, always, right now, I think the ventilation, the code is a lot better now. So you need proper ventilation nowadays. But, from some of these older homes, they just don't ventilate properly. Okay. Down here, the insulation, this is funny because whoever paid for this insulation, it's a waste of money. It's a waste of time because the insulation does not hit the drywall. Therefore, there's a big space in between, and the hot air gets in there, the cold air gets in there. So this is a big waste of time. Now, this is what, at the time, this was a brand new home, and they okayed it. Somebody said, yeah, go ahead. This is great. Move in. Totally waste of money, so we need to really watch out and really pay attention to detail. So we also run into all kinds of old stuff. This is the duct system of somebody's house, and as you can see, it's totally collapsed. And the people are trying to realize why their heating bill is so high, and why is their house not getting warm. So they're just heating up the attic because it's just not working. Everything's all busted up. So when you go to people's homes, there's always going to be people want to have solar. They want to show off. They want to show off their neighbors, so they think that solar is going to fix anything. Okay. They also love windows. Windows are like number one thing on somebody's list because they make your house look beautiful. When you open and close them, they're really nice. So everybody wants to do a double or triple, quadruple glass. It doesn't matter. They want windows. The thing about windows is that they're really expensive, and you can put the windows up, but if you don't take care of any of those issues that we talked just a minute ago, the windows they don't work. They do not provide any efficiency, okay? Because the air that people are supposed to stop from coming in, it's going to go somewhere else. So make sure that if somebody tells you that the window is going to be 30% more efficient, he means that if you do air seal and insulation and all these other things, then the window will actually do its job. Otherwise, it's just a really expensive window, and you're still going to have the issues if you don't take care of the conditioned air inside your home. So that's something that eventually you guys are going to be dealing with because the code's always asking for new windows. I am not so hot on windows because even if there's some leakage on these windows, there's going to be some fresh air coming in, and I'm okay with that. But if I have air coming in through the attic, I do not want that air coming into the home. So we use we use something, it's called the whole house approach. We're looking at everything that is there, not just one item. If somebody says, well, I just want a new AC, Javier, I said, okay, well, then call the AC person. I'm not coming out to just give you a brand new AC. I got to look at the whole house and let you know what actually the issues that you have before you spend any money. And that's how we, do our work. We basically follow every aspect of the home and then do our recommendations, do our testing, and then move on. So, so one of the things that you guys should do as, persons coming up is something that a counselor told me years ago, Javier. He said, Javier, you got a lot of experience on a lot of different things, but you're not an expert at anything, okay? You just know a lot of different things. You need to become an expert at something if you're going to be good at something. So for you guys, start right now. You don't have to wait for, 5 years experience, this and that. If you have something that you want to do, go and start signing up for a magazine. If it's air conditioning that you want, sign up for AC magazine. If you want to be a cook, sign up for a cooking magazine. Something that comes out every month with new information, something that is brand new, and something that people like, here's this guy, Elon Musk. I mean, I want to know what he's got to say. He's a pretty sharp guy. And if I want to learn something, I'd rather learn it from him than from somebody that's, just barely trying to learn. So make sure that you get yourself a magazine, something that comes out every month, and something that is fresh. And I don't care if it's a trucking magazine, something that you like, go ahead and get it, and make sure that every month you learn something new or what's going on with your trade or the things that you're trying to become. Okay, so you don't have to wait until you graduate or anything like that. Just do it right now. Get some stuff coming into your home and read up on it and become an expert on it. These are a couple of the books that I started with. For example, Measure Home Performance. These guys are up north and they're doing a lot of the work right now, and they're measuring everything. That's the good thing about these guys. They measure every single job that they do. So then they're able to put out white papers, different symposiums, different events, so where they're actually teaching stuff that they're actually working on, and they will tell you if the stuff's working or not. Brian Tracy, this guy taught me to basically set up goals. He's got a thing in here where he'll make you set up, 10 goals, and he wants you to write them down and keep on it, and he wants you to write them on a piece of paper and a book. I have my little book right here, and in this book, some of my early things, like becoming a hearse raider, it's in here. And, you write it down and you put a date on it, and then you continue and you going through it every single day to figure out, okay, where am I going next? What do I need to do next in order to get where I want to go? But if it's written down, you will definitely get it done. And, if you don't, it's just kind of like a dream. So get yourself set up and start writing your goals and, continue. So Good to Great is a great book. Teach you how to stay on top of your company, how to set up your company so you're always at the top. And then there's, tons of books on green construction. So I've definitely looked into that. Okay. So I got a really fancy title, but some of these jobs that we do, they're pretty tough. This is a crawl space, so we have to get in there and we have to crawl underneath and look around and see why some of these issues that the homeowner is having, if the crawl space part of it. So, you might get a fancy name or a fancy title, but you still got to do the work, and somebody's got to get underneath there and take a look and see what's going on. This is another section. This is one of those attics, and attics are nasty. They smell, they stink, they're dusty. There's rats. There's all kinds of animals up there. This person here decided to, cut that truss there and run a heater through there. So there's all kinds of things that you find that homeowner doesn't even know. Somebody goes out there and does whatever they want, and then, they just close the hatch and come down. And, this lady here was complaining her house had a bow on the roof. And basically when they cut this truss, they just messed up the structure of the frame. And so that was a big problem. Plus he's got a bunch of rats running around there on top. So that's definitely a tough job. The other thing, you're going to get in here and it's going to be really tough you have to crawl around. You got to, it's hot. Sometimes it's really hot. Sometimes it's like 140 degrees. So you feel like you're doing hot yoga, trying to navigate through that nonsense. And it's tough. And sometimes you get up there and you get a cramp, and, you got to slow down for a little bit. So you have to be, my daughter, we went out on an assessment one day, and I was trying to get up in the access to an attic, and I was barely fitting in. And she said, Dad, you're not going to be able to do this for much longer. And I said, yeah, I'm getting old. I'm 55. I'm getting older. And she said, no, you're getting too wide. You're too wide to go into those small spaces. So you better cut down on those cheeseburgers. I was like, geez, you hire you hire a consultant to help you, and all they can do is just give you a hard time, you know, because you're getting too wide. So, yeah, some of these jobs, you know, they need to be done. It needs to be done somebody that can get in there and get the job done. So here's some of the things that we usually find. For example, this gentleman here has got a sink, and you can see all the mold growing there. They have a water leak, and they've been having a water leak for the last year. And they just don't realize that, you know, behind those cabinets, there's usually plumbing, there's stuff going on. So they were complaining about smell, moisture, and the pipe right next to it, you know, you can see the big holes here on top around the pipe. And that's just basically air leakage that happens. You know, anything that happens in the attic will come through those holes and come inside the home. This is a classic. This is the return air conditioning box, okay? And so air comes in here, moves around, and then goes back inside the unit and comes out into your room. And look at this nasty thing. I mean, this grill here, and the other side of that grill, that's the house. And then the air comes in here, moves around here, picks up all this dirt, and then runs around here and all this. They got fiberglass up there. Believe it or not, you got fiberglass and your air system. So that's all that dust from the fiberglass, all that glass is just coming and mixing in the air. And then it goes through the heater and it comes out inside your room. So this is just some nasty stuff that's been going on. Luckily now the code does not allow you to do this. You have to put a metal booth, a metal return. So, you know, a new home is going to be fine, but gosh, we got 120,000 homes that were built in the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and they're like this. They're all like this, you know, like, you know, you go around and you fix one at a time, I guess, because nobody's paying attention to this. And so this is the type of work that we usually come out and let customers and clients know, hey, look, you got a big mess here. You need to take care of this. This is another ash. You know, this is ash from the fires that we had in the last you know, couple of years. So a lot of the attics in the area are full of ash. The ash does not go anywhere. What happens is it comes in the attic and it stays there. And it's like people that you know, I'm sorry, but people sometimes when they smoke inside a house and then somebody else comes in later, a week later, and you can smell that somebody's been there smoking. Well, this is what's happening in the attics. You basically have a bunch of ash up there and they can smell it. And you can see that black stuff there. It's just like, that's all the air going inside the homes through the top plate. Funny enough, this piece of fiberglass, it's laying on top of this pipe here. So it's basically a waste of money, and the system's not working at all. Here's the seal can't light. Okay, they sell these as a sealed unit, and you can see all the holes on top. You can see all the light over here. You see all these other holes over here. So, you know, as a designer, you build a home that's really airtight, and then you drill a bunch of holes in it. Okay, so this thing needs to be, you know, you need to think about this right here, because you cannot put these things on, you know, build a nice net zero home and then drill a bunch of holes in the, you know, top plate, and now you got to deal with holes in the top plate. This is a chase. This is people use these to run sometimes pipes, ducts, whatever they have to run there. But as you can see, it's wide open. So just think of in the summertime here. This attic here is 140 degrees, and now the air that's in the attic is going inside your house through these open chases. Okay, so this is crazy. You know, just kind of like, usually you can peer down and you can look down there, and there's aluminum cans, beer cans, where the construction people are just working and throwing everything inside there, you know, and they just left it wide open. And back then, nobody thought that, you know, hot air or nasty air is going to come inside the home. They just figured, hey, it is what it is. We've been doing it for years, and we'll just build it the same way. We'll continue. This is to do with your, what they call the duct boots. This is where your air conditioning registers. This is the back of it. So if you look inside your rooms, look up a little bit, and you'll see a register where the heater or the air conditioning air comes out. This is what's behind it. And usually these edges here are never sealed, so all the air comes out, and it blows out in the attic, and you lose a lot of the cold air, a lot of the hot air in the attic. It just doesn't go through it. It leaks out. Same thing here with this other booth. You can see that the drywall's not matching, so there's a huge hole there. So you're going to get a lot of air leakage through that when you turn on your AC or if you're running your heater. That's something that definitely need to pay attention to. Pay attention to detail. All these issues came out of these two homes. The one on the left is over $1 million. It's fairly, I believe it's a 7-year-old home, but it's got all kinds of issues. Nobody really paid attention. And you can see that the design is awesome. The construction, the general contractor is pretty good, tradesman. He did a really good job. The house is really neat, but nobody paid attention to the details, and therefore the house is suffering right now. It's got all kinds of issues regarding, the bills are too high, and there's all kinds of allergies and things that the people are dealing with. So, it's basically like a sick home. It's like, it's not working properly. Same thing with the house on the right. This is a little bit older. This one's about 15 years old, but it's got the same issues, and these are beautiful homes. These are really nice homes. So you got to pay attention to detail. This here is from the Thomas fire, and this is what we were encountering back then, right after the fire. There was these houses, this particular house, the lady, it didn't burn down to the ground, but she locked it up, closed all the windows, and took off, because she was afraid. So she left the house there for a few days and came back, and just to find, if you look in this corner here, there's tons of ash inside the home, okay? If you look into this other center picture here, this is the return air box. The heater and the air conditioning are full of ash, okay? This other return box is full of ash also. Up in the attic, she had wide open ducts, so all the ash got in there and compromised the heating unit. Pretty much, you can't do anything with a unit like that. You just got to get rid of it. And then you see the insulation and everything. There's just ash everywhere. The air was blowing really hard, and ash was going flying everywhere. And they got all inside the house, and and the people from the insurance told her, "Oh, you can go back. We already picked up the ash in the floor." And I said, "You can't live here. This thing's full of ash. It's all over the place." You could see here all the big gaps that she has in between the walls, and all the ash just went in there. And so when she was vacuuming, or when she was like just hanging around the living room, she could smell the taint of smoke, and it was just kind of just really crazy. Here comes Stinky. This house, customer called and said, it smells. It smells really musky. There's really humid. I mean, it was just nasty stuff. It wasn't a comfortable house. I was like, what's going on? So first of all, we went around the house, and we noticed that they had all this overgrown grass, and they were watering the heck out of it. So the walls were all moist. There was a lot of moisture on the walls, and that was all traveling up inside the home. Underneath the crawl space, they had big holes underneath. So you can see this is one of their bathtubs, and they had a huge hole there. So anything that's going out in the crawl space, the humidity, the water, it's all going through the inside of the house through all these holes. Up in the attic, you had a bunch of ash from the fire, and then somebody decided to put the fan here, the exhaust fan for the washer. For the bathroom, your shower, and they were pumping all the moisture out in the attic. So this attic was always like feeling like musky, humid, because they keep continuing taking hot showers, and all the vapor and all that stuff is going into the attic. So there's a lot of problems that have nothing to do with energy. It's just kind of like people just can't stand their house. They're stinky, or there's something wrong with them. So and one of the things that we do is like the way we fix things is we don't guess at anything. We test everything. We want to make sure what is our, what is our baseline number? What are we looking at here before we start doing any of that stuff? So, there's going to be, you got duct system testing, where you pressurize the system and you're trying to find out what your leakage is. There's airflow. You definitely want to have a good airflow on your return. Otherwise, the unit's not going to work properly. So this is something where you check your register, your return air, to make sure you got the proper air going in there. And then you want to, if you got air conditioning, you want to verify that the refrigerant, that the charge is properly set, that you don't have, too little or too much. Make sure that you got fault within the manufacturer's guidelines. Okay. You also want to check your fans. Make sure your fans are running properly. This is our blower door test. We pressurize homes or depressurize homes to find out what the amount of leakage you have in your home. So for the average leakage here in the area of Ventura, most people have a hole that's about this big, like a 3x3 hole. And then they wonder why they can't cool the home down or, warm up the home. We've got a huge hole in the house. So what the blower test does, it adds up every single little crack and measures it and gives you a size. So these are some of when we run a blower door, we like to, take a couple of pictures with the infrared. This tool right here is really neat. And basically it shows the amount of air that's flowing through some of these things here. Like the first one here, that obviously the insulation is not working at all. The 2x4s are actually providing more insulation than the actual insulation. So that's a problem there. This in the middle, I believe that's a access door that it's not lit, it's just not insulated or it's not sealed. So all the hot air is coming into the house. And this one here it's a wall where there's no insulation at all. And it's just kind of, letting the heat come in through the house. These are some of the tools of the trade. This is my blower door test here, my blower door. This thing, when it gets running, it can pump a lot of air, and it can either depressurize the home or pressurize it to find out, what the leakage is. Every time we do air seal, we always do carbon monoxide testing. So these are all the carbon monoxides. It checks for carbon monoxide. Once you start air sealing a home, you don't want to all of a sudden start making these units, gas burning units, negative, because then you got problems. So we got to make sure that this is going to be at a good level. This is my duct tester. So we use this on every time we want to check ducts and make sure that, the contractors have a small number. Now the code, I don't like the code. I mean, the code is there just to get you by, it's kind of like average. It's not that good. It's good, but it's not good enough. For a new unit, they said if it can leak 5%. For an existing unit, it can leak up to 10%. So I was like, that's a lot of leakage, We want the lowest we can get. So that's our goal. Our infrared cameras are really handy. We use them all the time. This is a true flow grid. It'll measure the amount of air that's going through maybe the units or the return boxes. And then I got my truck. We put everything on a truck, and you've got a company ready to go. So some of the fixes after we've seen some of the mess that people are doing, you just gotta air seal the duct. You gotta be using mastic. You gotta get them really airtight. And it's easy to do. You just gotta pay a little bit of attention, and pay attention to that detail. Insulation. There's a lot of different insulations. It doesn't matter which type you put in. What matters is to make sure that it's put on right. If you don't put in right, it doesn't matter if it's a bath or if you're blowing it in, or if you don't have an air seal, then nothing really is going to work. So the spray foam, if you have a new home, a lot of people are doing this. This becomes an air seal and also an insulator. So it's good stuff. But you got to know what you're doing. This thing is, it's going to be off gassing for some time. So you got to really know what you're doing when you start applying this kind of system. You definitely want to do your walls. These are some of the walls that we do. this is an existing house that never had insulation before. And when they pump it in, you could see that it feels in really nice, and that's what you want. And then it's all about the air seal. If you want to have a good airtight home, you got to seal the top plate. You know, you got to get up there and clean it and make sure that, you know, that things are going to be good. So you got to take care of this. Somebody's got to do it for you before you put the insulation in. So, you know, when performance does matter, and, you know, you got to remember that the code is an average code. Always set yourself to do a higher standard. Set your goals. You know, always be learning. If not, you're falling behind. Pat Riley said that, I believe. And, you know, make sure that you're always learning. Always be selling. This is the owner of the Mavericks. Always be selling. Whatever program you're in, always do the best to, you know, tell everybody what you're doing and tell, you know, what's going on. So, and the most interesting is ask questions. If you don't know, you know, always ask the questions. If you don't ask, then people are not going to tell you. Or if you are trying to sell something, if you don't ask for the sale, you're not going to get it. So, you know, just remember those things. I don't know, we're doing the time. I think we might have gone over, but I definitely want to thank the U.S. Green Building Council for bringing me in, and the Ventura College for taking me back, you know, and I really enjoyed my work, and hope you guys find a good trade and stick with it.
Thank you, Javier.